Hello and welcome. My name is Charvelle, and I'm your host here on this EBONI Live on this great Wednesday. If this is your first time tuning in to our live chats, welcome, and we hope you'll continue tuning in. If this is a recurring thing for you, then welcome back. Today we have a beautiful spirit here coming on to chat with me. She is a veteran actor. She's a best-selling author. She's a public speaker and inspiration. She is the co-founder of the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival, among many other things. Truly just an icon in just to put it plainly. So super excited to talk about her path, her journey, her career, some great opportunities she has coming up for other actresses and writers and anybody who is interested in really the arts. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to Adilah Barnes.
Good afternoon.
Hello, my dear.
Thank you for having me, Charvelle.
You are so welcome. I'm truly excited. I feel like we've exchanged emails throughout the years a couple times, so it's so great to finally get to hear you and meet you, see you in person. I can only imagine how busy you are all the time, given all of your
busy.
Yeah, all of your titles. But thank you for taking some time to chat with us. We're so excited to have you here.
It's my pleasure.
Awesome. So because this is EBONI, let's start at the beginning. Let's start at Emerson. So what did you go to Emerson for?
You know, I have a very different story than most people at Emerson. Yes, I see you shaking your head like, oh.
I'm interested.
Yes. In my case, I was actually a student at UC Santa Cruz.
Oh.
And one of our past professors, the late Sheldon Fellner, ended up going to Emerson to teach in theater, which was my major.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Sheldon went to Emerson, I said, oh, Shell, I want to go too. So he said, okay, if you work it out on your end, I'll work it out on mine so that you can come back here and do a field study. So that's what I did. So I came back for a semester. It was wonderful. I had never been in an environment where everybody was artistic.
Yeah.
And so that's how it all transpired. I came to Emerson through Sheldon Fellner and was able to do a field study and then went on back to UC Santa Cruz. So I graduated from Santa Cruz, but EBONI has always claimed me, Emerson claims me, and I claim Emerson. So I feel like I have two campuses that I can say are mine as an alumni in some way.
That's fabulous. I did not know. So great. So theater, that is your heart? Is that your main passion, you'd say?
Yes, I began when I was 16. I was a teenager, and I was in Project Upward Bound. I'm sure some of your viewers either went to Upward Bound or know others who did. It's been around a long time. And it began in 1965. Sergeant Shriver began the program, and it's still around today as part of the TRIO program. So I feel about Upward Bound like many people feel about the American flag. It literally changed my life. It was just so inspirational and guided me. And so that's when I began. My first play, I was 16. I played the Queen in The Ugly Duckling by A.A. Milne.
Oh, I love that. I love to hear the humble story. Myself, I played Gandalf in The Hobbit.
That was your first play?
Yeah.
Everybody has a beginning. Everybody has a story.
Yeah. And I've been in love with the craft ever since. So yeah, I love to hear everybody's, kind of starting out.
Wonderful.
So from theater, did you get into TV and film after graduating college? How was that transition?
Yes, I began obviously doing theater. And at that time, after I left my little hometown of Oroville, California, which is a very small little agricultural community with busybodies, mosquitoes, dusty roads, a lot of agriculture. That's where I hail from. So I'm really a small town girl at heart, even though I've lived in cities most of my life. And so I actually left there. Then I went to Santa Cruz and came to Emerson and graduated. And then I moved to the Bay Area. And that's when I got my union cards when I moved to the Bay Area. So I got all 3 of my cards, my Actors Equity Association card for theater, Screen Actors Guild, AFTRA card, and of course SAG and AFTRA are now combined, but at that time were 3 distinctly different unions. So I began doing television and film when I actually was in the Bay Area after I graduated.
Happy to claim Adilah Barnes.
Oh, what a nice comment we just got. Thank you.
Love that. Okay. Oh, so more of the Bay Area is where that transition kind of formulated for you.
That's where the transition was. Yes, yes.
That's so interesting because at least I have not ever heard of anybody saying like, oh yeah, I started my acting career in the Bay. It's like
right. Well, there are a lot.
Yeah.
There are a number of us who did. Danny Glover is from the Bay. We go back about 40 years before he was a household name. We were both actors in the Bay, as you call it. And so there are a number of people who actually hail from the Bay Area. He is probably the most notable, Danny Glover.
Got it. Love that. Okay. And so we have your reel here. Do you want to maybe show off a couple of projects you've done over the years?
Let's do that so that people get a visual.
Let's take a look.
Okay.
Howdy do, Rhonda, my old friend. How are you?
I'll be great in 30 seconds when I kick your behind out of here.
Not before I apply for welfare for my children.
Most of your kids are too old.
Not the old set. Got some new ones coming in about 8.5 months.
How many?
Yes, maybe 6.
6. How many women did you get pregnant?
Just one. I'm very virile. The thing is, the old set doesn't think we'll be able to provide for this.
The old set is smarter than I think it is.
And I'd like to prove them wrong.
And going on welfare is how you plan to do that.
Math. Start my checks now. I'll invest the money in Bitcoin.
You know your way out.
Come on, Rhonda. Help a brother out.
Excuse me?
Bitcoin billionaire, you've heard the phrase. My kids will be set. I'll never have to bother you or the state of Illinois again.
I will see you in 9 months.
That's your final word?
Yes.
Fine.
Mike might not have pursued her, but I sure was gonna. I'd like to see Charvelle, please.
Is she expecting you?
Is anyone ever really expecting anyone?
So that's enough. No appointment, no scene. Now you can call our 1-800 number.
No, you really can't, because I tried. Can I just use your bathroom?
Employees only.
Oh, nervous bladder.
Go. All the cases. And in that way, at any time, you can tell the status of the account. Where it is in the office, stuff like that. And here's where we organize all the files alphabetically. Okay. And here's your desk. And I want you to come with me. I want to show you where the Xerox machine is. Everybody has a code that you need to know about that.
Do I get to put on the code?
We'll see. Your grandmother maybe was quilt when Lou and I got married.
So we'll cut there, but so impressive. I feel like, there's right off the bat, I was like, Shameless is one of my shows. So I was like, oh my gosh, that was you.
You've got quite a following, I found out.
Yes. And actually Netflix just released the latest season, I guess. So I'm binging that this week. Marlene here said, I remember that scene. You were great. So,
Thank you, Marlene.
That's great. We're able to, recognize you. And now I'll be on the lookout for you.
Thank you.
So amazing. That's so amazing. So congratulations on all the success. How is that process for you when you get casted in a show or a movie? Is it still like the first time? Is there butterflies? Or are you kind of like you're like, oh, like I'm a professional. I got this. Like that makes sense. I can do this.
No, the butterflies are always there, be it stage, TV, film. And in a way that's good because you can use that adrenaline to really move you forward in the work. So one never gets comfortable doing the work, or at least I don't. So I think it's a good thing to have that kind of energy that propels you forward.
Yeah, no, I love that. And can you, if there's a, you know, a lot of thespians that are, you know, going through Emerson, trying to make it out here in Los Angeles and New York, what kind of advice can you give to those of us who are going out on castings and trying to get to where you've accomplished to be?
First of all, I would say it's important to train, train, train. So use the time that's at Emerson to learn everything that you can about the craft. As an actor, you know, your hand at tech, producing, directing, whatever it is that you can learn, do that. Also, learn through observation, observe people, read autobiographies, biographies of those you really respect that are in the business so that you can learn from them both things that worked for them and also the pitfalls so that perhaps we don't make the same mistakes that others have made, so we can learn from them. And I would say just really build relationships because in our business, particularly, but in all businesses, I believe that it's always about relationships. So the more that you can really hone in on the opportunity to learn from others, the better.
Great advice. Thank you
Especially
so
people
much.
that you admire and that you like.
Yeah, I love that. Steven says, I'm going to have to start watching Shameless now.
Oh, hi, Steven.
Hi,
Hi.
thanks for tuning in. And we
I
have
know
another one
Steven.
here, Cynthia Hardy. I love this
Hi,
clip.
Cynthia. She's one of our Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival people. Hi, Cynthia.
I love that. I love that. So
Oh,
let's transition into the festival while, you know,
okay.
it's fresh. So you are a co-founder, correct?
I'm a co-founder. We were founded 27 years ago.
Oh, okay. So how did that come to be?
It's the oddest story, and yet nothing happens coincidentally. What happened was I went to a conference that was put on by the California Arts Council, and at that time they had a program where as artists, either individual artists or groups, could be placed on their roster. So it was like getting approval from the state in their directory. If anyone wanted artists, they could go to that California Arts Council roster. And so I happened to go to a conference that they had in Pasadena, and I met a woman there by the name of Miriam Reed. I was on the roster. She wasn't, but she wanted to get on it. So again, relationships, relationships, relationships. She wanted to come so she could meet people. And so we realized that we were kindred spirits in that she portrays historical solo women who are Anglo and mine are African American. So that was our hook. That was our connection. We knew we were kindred spirits in that regard. And by the end, they had everyone come into the same room to powwow, and they asked if there were any announcements. So Miriam Reed had the bright idea of saying, Adilah, what if I go up to the mic and see if there are any other solo artists here, and perhaps we can collectively support each other? And I said, Miriam, I think that's a great idea. And it was a huge conference. So I raised my hand when she acknowledged me. And by the end of the powwow, we had all these artists who came to the rear of the room. We had actors, dancers, storytellers, performance artists, performance poets, musicians, singers. And we looked at each other. We knew that we were on to something. And two women were with the Burbank Little Theater, and they said, we can have the first meeting there. So that's how it all began. And we were fashioned after the Women's Theater Festival that had come to Los Angeles the year before in 1992 at UCLA. And they took us under their wings and really taught us the ropes, many of us, because for the most part, we were artists. We were not business people. But we became business people because we became a nonprofit and an organization.
Amazing. All that I guess.
You never know where an idea is going to take you. Always explore it.
So we do have a promo here. So we can take a look at this with the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. Awesome. So definitely this, spectrum of different, stories and narratives and women from all walks of life. And I
Yes,
love
different
that.
disciplines. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about how somebody can get involved with the festival if they're interested?
I'd be happy to. They can contact us at our website at www.lawtf.org, or they can call us 818-760-0408, or they can email us at lawtfspotlight@yahoo.com. We'd love to hear from people who are interested in performing, volunteering, becoming a part of us in other ways. And we're just delighted. Over our 27 years, we've produced well over 500 solo artists from around the globe. So we welcome others to join us as well.
Awesome. And what would you say is kind of the purpose of the festival?
Our mission is to really provide a place where women are able to have their works viewed. And oftentimes we have those who have original works, personal stories, and many have been around the world already with their works. It's highly competitive. People submit online. We have a screening panel, and we view every tape that comes in. We discuss them, we rate them. We have 4 rounds, so it's really a very rigorous process. Anyone who gets in hopefully feels very proud that they did.
Love that. Okay, let's see. I think there might be a little bit of an echo on your end.
Oh.
Do you have headphones by chance?
I'd have to go look for
Okay.
headphones.
Let's see if
Is there anything I can do?
Other than the headphones, that'd be it, but I'll try and maybe just make sure that you're the one mostly speaking.
Okay.
That way we don't hear it too much. But yeah, so you have the festival, and then you also have the Writers' Well, which is kind of the opposite side. So you have a performance-based festival, and then the Writers' Well is more writers-based. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, the Writers' Well. There are women who come from all over the globe. We've had women as far away as Puerto Rico and Ghana. And it's in Georgia, a very woodsy environment, very quiet, very peaceful, very serene. And women come and write from many different genres, all the way from those who are creating solo shows, as we're talking about, to film work. We have those who have, we had one artist who was working on a children's pictorial book. We've had academic writers, all kinds of writers. I see that you have posted now some of our footage.
Yeah, I put the website up so folks can take a look.
Great. We also sometimes have a writing contest. So I'm going to be working on that. And if there's someone who is a writer and may want to submit, once it's known and you now have information on how to reach the Writers' Well, we'll make it known when our next writing contest is. And the person who's interested can submit and hopefully be selected to come for a week to write in Georgia.
Let's see, Stephen. The echo.
Oh, Stephen says it was your end that had the echo. Oh, Stephen, I'm so glad it wasn't me. Thank you for letting us know.
I think it's my voice, but I'm hearing it on your computer. I think is what's happening.
Okay.
Because when I put the headphones on, it didn't help, and that's supposed to be the trick. But yeah,
it's all good.
We'll keep going. We'll keep trucking through.
Plugging forward. There you go.
Yeah. So what I love about your career is it seems like you're not just about, well, first it's creativity and passion, obviously, but it's also this drive to help further other people's careers and help other people, cultivate their talents and passions. Where does that come from?
Well, I really believe that all of us have a calling, at least one calling in life. And in my case, I've been very blessed because I have several callings.
Mm.
And so I've just been obedient and tried to do what I feel that I've been called to do, whether it be one of the co-founders of the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival, where artists have a platform, a place where they can share their solo work, or be it the Writers' Well, where women can come and develop their works, literary work. And I've even co-founded a reading circle where we meet once a month. And so that's another form of our literary work that we do, those of us who are involved as writers and readers. And so I just tried to be obedient. And as a child, I always wanted and thought I would be a teacher. I thought I'd be an English teacher. So I became a teacher, but an acting teacher and a writing teacher nonetheless. And so that's something else that's been very important to me to share as a teacher. But as someone once said to me, he used to see me every week come into this space, and I'd always have these books and notebooks. And he said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm a teacher." And he said, "Oh, so you're a student?" I said, "Yes, I am." So I never forgot that we may be teachers, many of us, but we're also students because we're learning from our students.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ebony says, thanks for all you give, Adilah, and supporting women artists.
Oh, it's my pleasure. That's one of my callings. I work very closely with women and have for many, many years.
Mm-hmm. And
Speaking of which, and women, I want people to know about Empowerment Day that the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival is going to have August 28th through the 30th. And we'll be on Zoom. There we go. And so if there are those who are interested in creating a solo show, maybe you've got this show that's been dancing around in your head and you don't know quite how to do it, or maybe you already have developed solo shows and still want to learn more, we have things will be all weekend this year, thanks to a grant that we got from the Department of Cultural Affairs to do so because of the pandemic. And so that Friday night, the 28th, I'll kick it off with an interview. And then on Saturday, we have a whole lineup of workshops and panels. And on Sunday afternoon, the same. So all the way from creating a solo show to touring, to empowered women who are crafting a career, to embracing technology and the new normal, to solo artists as activists. Teamwork makes the dream work. Branding your solo show, 9 offerings that we'll have all together. So we'd love to have people join us.
I'm definitely going to check that out.
Oh, good.
I'm super interested in.
Good. People can go to Eventbrite and get their tickets.
Okay, good to know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then, so we talked about the theater, we talked about acting, and we talked about writing a little bit with the Writers' Well, but you are also a published writer,
Yes,
correct?
yes. I'm very blessed. I have a book, and I never thought I would really write a book, but I remember many years ago when I was an instructor at the American Conservatory Theater, ACT, in San Francisco, some of my students gave me this beautiful bound book that had dried leaves on the cover, and they said, "This is for when you write your book." And I said, "Write my book? I'm not thinking about writing a book." And I kept that. And in fact, whenever I do my one-woman show, my one character, Mary McLeod Bethune, it's always on her table, that same book that they gave me. And at one point, I just said, I think it's time. I think it's time that I write this book. And so I finally did. And it was published in 2008. And I was so surprised and so humbled in June of 2009 because Essence Magazine named it number 3 for that month behind President Obama's 2 books. I was really, really surprised and honored. So if people are interested, they can get an autographed copy.
Right, and you said you can email you directly if anybody's interested in a personal copy that's signed by you.
Yes.
But we can see here it is also available on Amazon. Move it that real quick so they can take a look. All right, great. So, Adilah, let's talk a little bit about the creation process, because so much of this you need to find inspiration. Where do you find inspiration?
Well, I'm really impacted by the world, and as a little girl growing up in Oroville, California, it was a very small world, and yet it was a very full world because we had a lot of first generation African Americans who had come from the South to this little town of Oroville, California in the Sacramento Valley. And so I was really impacted by my elders. I've always enjoyed being around older people, learning from them. And so, from the time that I was very young, from kindergarten, really, I enjoyed school, I enjoyed learning, and I enjoyed writing. And one thing took me to another, and I just continued to grow creatively over the years, acting, etc.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. And so you're also about, facilitating, growth and, kind of furthering the generations. What advice can you give to, young creatives coming up the ranks? I know we talked a little bit about this before, but kind of on a more strategic level, do you operate in a very planned, formulated attack, or are you kind of go with the flow person? What do you think has worked best for you?
For me, I'm the kind of person who I need to have order, I need to have a plan, I need to have a strategy. And so even with my book, it's chronological. It starts with my beginning and it moves throughout my life until it stops in 2008. Now, lots happened since then, but through that period of time. So, I also every day try to write 6 goals. There was someone, I can't remember who now, but some millionaire, and he said one thing that he did was every day he wrote down 6 goals. So every day I try to write down 6 goals that I have for the day. Some are very tiny, but some are very big. And I love being able to check them off. And every day I also write down, or I try to, one miracle that I have for that day or had for that day. And it's a way that for me, it gives gratitude. And I think that's really important that we do that we give gratitude for whatever we have in our lives. And sometimes we don't really realize how blessed that we are. But I really feel that if every day we can acknowledge at least one miracle that we've had for that day, that's a way of giving gratitude. So one of the things that I say is enjoy your miracle today. And one of our people with the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival, Juliet Jeffers, gave me a pair of earrings and they said, enjoy your miracle, which I thought was so thoughtful. So I believe that our inspiration can come from many places. And every day, I believe that we have the opportunity to acknowledge and give gratitude for whatever that miracle was, at least one per day.
I love that. And it's so obvious that you are a public speaker and that you are, kind of this motivator. Gratitude is something I've been trying to do, especially during this quarantine, is just to find those little blessings in disguise and be grateful for what we do have, because you never know what's going to happen right tomorrow. But that being said, you are quite, an accomplished public speaker, and we have your speaker reel. So I'd love to throw that up so we can take a look really quick.
Okay.
Excuse me while I get this up and running.
No problem.
So here we have speaker reel.
In well over 30 years in the entertainment industry,
Let's see. Make it big.
I have had the opportunity to work alongside some of Hollywood's most elite A-list stars, and I've documented my multifaceted career in the business by connecting the dots of my many endeavors inside my book, On My Own Terms, One Actor's Journey.
For tonight's keynote speaker, Adilah Barnes.
This day is all about you. I thought about so many things I wanted to address this evening, but there simply is just not enough time. I finally decided I wanted to keep it real by speaking on the topic, stepping out into the real world, roles and responsibilities of being global citizens in our changing times. And what a time we are living in. Graduates, you are now stepping out into the real world, though it may not always look real, and have the opportunity and challenge to become leaders in our society by applying what you have learned academically and socially. Know that you are much more than young scholars. Your roles and responsibilities that await you also have everything to do with your character. That includes possessing qualities such as honesty, integrity, the ability to stand up for what you believe in, to discern right from wrong, and to make choices that you are proud of. Know that standing up is not without risk, as we have seen throughout history, but it is necessary to foster change, and it is also satisfying to the soul. As a professional actor in Hollywood, I am a testament that we can do exactly what we want to do with our lives. Yes, and all the while selflessly give back to those who come behind us. Each one, teach one. And as you reach back, reach forward to identify individuals you respect and whom you also like, whom you may be able to learn from as mentors. Always surround yourselves with those who know more than you, so you can learn from them and be better. And make sure you surround yourselves with those who believe in you and have your best interest at heart. There is absolutely no room for negativity and naysayers if you want to reach your goals. Take a good look at who's giving you advice. So relationships, relationships, relationships. And make time to serve. Find a cause that you believe in and be willing to devote some of your free time to volunteer. It doesn't take much. You may feel as good about giving back as those who will benefit from your giving. More than anything, take good care of yourselves, holistically, intellectually, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Find balance in your lives. Work hard and play hard. Journal to chronicle your feelings and experiences. Love yourselves personally and culturally, and value who you are, because there is no one else like you. Dream big. Don't sweat the small stuff. Give gratitude every day. And more will be given to you.
Great.
That was my alma
And,
mater,
you know,
UC Santa Cruz.
that's so great. It's almost like a full circle, getting to go back. Was that your first public speaking event, or have you been doing it for a while?
No, I've taught elsewhere. Sometimes when I've toured with my one-woman show, I Am Woman Black, that has actually toured 40 states and 3 continents. sometimes I've done public speaking wherever I've gone, maybe a keynote address or a motivational talk or, a master class talk or whatever at colleges and universities. And, I've also spoken at theater conferences, at theater festivals, just many different venues, many venues.
So Marlene, one teach one, yes, great advice. An African American expression, wonderful commencement speech.
Oh, thank you, Marlene, for still being there.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. So was that transition? It seems that it was pretty natural for you. Well, as somebody who also is like, a journalist, a public speaker, an actress, they're all intertwined. So
yes, they are.
Did you find yourself stumbling into public speaking, or is it something that happened just kind of naturally as a nature of your career?
Well, it really began in high school and at Oroville High. We had a student body of about 1,200 and about 50 Black students. And I was extremely active. I was in everything.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I did was I took public speaking and was a speaker for one of the men's clubs, like the Lions Club or something, and made it almost to the state level. And I was one of our valedictorian speakers. So I've been speaking for many, many years. It really began in high school by taking public speaking.
Nice. It's just been a natural part of your journey.
I love language.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it shows. And I feel like, you've proven so many times here throughout this discussion that you're all about facilitating growth within yourself and within others. And I feel like that takes just such a big heart. So thank you for all that you've done. I'm sure you've touched so many people with your words and your actions. And you're also an acting coach, which is like, I don't know how you have the time to do it all. But it's so crazy. So why don't you talk about that experience? And I guess it seems pretty natural for an actor, as successful as yourself, to become an acting coach, to kind of hand down your lessons learned. But really, why is that important to you to do that?
Well, first of all, let me just back up a little bit and say that I began teaching acting, oddly enough, after being in Upward Bound, graduating from high school. The summer after that, they invited me to come back to Chico State in California and teach acting. And I thought, geez, I'm only 19. How am I going to teach acting?
Right.
And but I did. And so I continued to teach over the years, the American Conservatory Theater. I mentioned that in San Francisco. I was the first African American to teach full-time in their advanced training program. And the program, at that point, the theater company was like 21 years old. So it wasn't such a great thing for me. It was really kind of embarrassing that it took 21 years to have someone African American to teach full-time in the advanced training program. But I'm glad that I had that opportunity, even though it was an old boys club. And, I was the only female who was in the advanced training program teaching, the only African American. And so I really felt, as many of us do in different situations, that you have to be twice as good. So it really meant that I had to do my homework every week. The students had to do scenes that were assigned them. And if I didn't know the plays, I have to read them so that I'd be able to critique them every Friday. And so over the years, I've just really been blessed to have the opportunity to teach in a number of different situations, and all the way from elementary to seniors.
Nice. Let's see here. We have a quick
Okay.
So I'll toss that up. We can take a quick look at that. I think this will be our last video for the day.
Okay.
And then we can kind of talk a little bit more about how people can get involved with our various, things we've discussed today.
Okay.
Are you ready to take your acting career to the next level? I am Adilah Barnes, And I have been an acting teacher for many years. My private coaching clients include Tony Braxton and Kim Woodley. As an actor, I have worked with celebrities such as Julia Roberts, Sandra Bullock, and many more. I offer character development, audition preparation, career development, and on-set coaching.
Great. So I'll throw this back up so people can see it for a more, longer period of time here. But so this is the main contact if you want to, utilize Adilah's acting, or if you would like a personalized copy of her book. Just great resources to help those, budding actors, or maybe people who have been in the industry a while and just looking to, continue that learning that we were discussing earlier, which is imperative to success. So definitely reach out to Adilah here at abpro1@aol.com. And then I wanted to also talk about, go back a little bit. You said for the empowerment weekend, you're looking for an intern. Is that correct?
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. I almost forgot that. Thank you, Charvelle. Actually, the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival, for many years, has been the recipient of interns during the summer through the LA County Arts Commission. This year's a little bit different because of the pandemic. So instead of it being 40 hours for 10 weeks, 400 hours that they underwrite, they've opened it up in a different way because the world is so different and we couldn't start on time and people can't necessarily go to offices. So what they've done is they've said, okay, we'll start in July and you may have the interns through March, and you may have them remotely, or you may have them come into your office once the offices open up. And so we're now receiving submissions from those who are interested in being an intern with us, perhaps through March 1st. And so the position is an executive and event planning intern, all the way from doing administrative support work to actually helping with the planning of events. So if people are interested, they can either go to our website, they can go to our email address, which we've showed, and I believe we've given our phone number, but in case we didn't, it's 818-760-0408 to learn more about how one may become an intern. There are a couple of criteria, though, that are important to know. One is that you have to be a current student. So you can't have graduated. I just saw one that just came through a submission. She's just graduated from UCLA, so we can't, she sounds great, but we can't hire her. So you have to be a current student, and you have to either be from Los Angeles or go to school in Los Angeles. So say someone is from Boston and they're going to UCLA, they would still be able to apply because they go to school in Los Angeles, even though they're from Boston.
Okay. Good to know. So anybody with contacts, college students in Los Angeles, definitely.
Or if you know someone.
Yeah, spread the word. And then I'm going to toss up the Empowerment Weekend flyer one more time so we can take a look. The virtual Empowerment Weekend, August 28th through the 30th, coming up fast. The summer is flying by. So,
yes, it is.
Be sure to check it out. Adilah said that Eventbrite is where you can get tickets. So definitely important. And then I'll toss up the book one more time. On My Own Terms, One Actor's Journey by Adilah Barnes, available on Amazon. But as we mentioned before, if you'd like a personalized signed copy, you can go directly through Adilah at her email, which is this one. So I feel like this has been a wonderful discussion, a wonderful journey through your career. You've done so much and continue to. It seems like you just have, I don't know, this youthful energy. I feel like you're going to keep going and going.
Well, Very high compliment because actually this year I became 70 years old. So that's a high compliment. I know.
would never have thought.
Nobody believes it. I think it's partly my spirit, but I
Yeah.
also think it's genetic because my father lived to be 101 and his brother 100. So I think it's also in the blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Ride that wave. Thank you for your artistry and passion.
Oh, that was a nice comment. Does anybody have any question or comment for us?
Yeah,
Charvelle?
we can take a couple. I don't see too many. Ebony is also saying make sure that we can post everything onto the Facebook page and share to
Okay.
our network that way. So we'll want to get that flyer out to them, and any other information about the internship. And then what's next for you? What's next on this journey?
Well, one is Empowerment Weekend that's coming up. We also received the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. We also received a grant again this year from the city of West Hollywood. So we're going to present later in the year in October. And what we're going to do is use footage that's been pre-recorded. So instead of us being in a theater presenting for the city of West Hollywood, we will do it online and we're creating our own channel. So we will do it. Yeah. So we're going to do that. That's coming up. And then personally, I'm trying to get back to my writer's well. Once things open up with this pandemic, I'll be able to go back down there. It's been a long time. I haven't been down there since January. So I'd like to go back down and entertain writers once things are lifted and we go to the other side, make it to the other side. And also the space is used for Airbnb. So I have Airbnb guests that come as well in case someone's coming and interested. And so I'll continue to do all the things that I do. And so I don't know what's next. Once things open up again, our futures are just kind of, uncertain at this time. But once they open up again, I'm pretty sure that I'll be doing more TV, I'll be doing more film. And I really think it's important that people remember that during this time, hi Lee. Oh, that's Lee Murphy. She's with our Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. She says, of course you're going to keep going. You've got a lot more to create, I suppose.
Yes.
And I just want to say that in terms of the pandemic, I know a lot of people are having a hard time with it. And one of the things that we're going to do with Empowerment Day is in every single one of our 9 offerings, somehow we're going to address the times that we're living in. So I'm really glad that we're going to make it very personal, very timely this year. And the other thing that I want to say is that in terms of this pandemic, for those who are having a really hard time climbing the walls and yelling and screaming, and there are many, I think it's important to remember that this too shall pass. And there will be an end to this. It's not going to be forever. And so we can use the time to be creative or use the time for whatever, clean out a closet, learn a new recipe, whatever it is that we want to use the time for, spend more time with family members, reaching out to our loved ones more that perhaps we just have not made enough time because we've been so busy. Well, now we've got an opportunity through quiet time. And I think also that we can use the time spiritually to develop ourselves. I like journaling. I like exercising. I like using my time in different ways that really elevate me, hopefully. And so I think we have an opportunity to use this time of quiet to really, really take ourselves to another place, perhaps that we might not have done at this time. So in everything, there's a silver lining. And I just hope that we all remember that and wear our masks and vote.
Yes. Stephen just popped in. He said he also studied under Sheldon Feldner and Upward Bound. Thanks for the memory.
Wow. I didn't know that, Stephen. So you're a fellow Upward Bounder? And you knew the late, great Sheldon Feldner, who was responsible for me coming to Emerson College. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Small world.
I love that, though. We're all connected, and I thank you for those words. It's hard to remember that this is not forever.
It's not forever.
It will
It's not
end.
forever. It will end.
Yeah.
My little granddaughter, Mackenzie, said to me the other day, she's so bright. And I'm writing another book, actually. I'm creating all these quotes that I get from her. I just try to run and put them in the book before she goes on to the next comment.
Yeah.
And she said to me the other day, she said, Grandma, I said, yes, Mackenzie. She said, I really hope this coronavirus ends by my birthday on October 30th. I said, we do too. We do too. And one day it surely will end.
Yeah. Great final words. Vote and wear a mask, folks.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Stay safe, stay healthy, stay motivated, you know.
That's right.
Keep working on those crafts and keep
That's
learning.
right.
Keep
That's
being a
right.
student is what
That's
we've
right.
kind of learned today. I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Do you have any final words for us before we get going?
Well, I would just say that if we're still here, our work is not done.
Mm.
And so know that if we know what our callings are, continue to do what we have been called to do. If we don't know what our callings are, just think about where our passion lies. What do we really enjoy doing? Because that is perhaps a roadmap of where we may go.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you for that. Truly, just an enjoyable hour. Thank you so much, Adilah. This was so sweet. Lovely to
It's my pleasure.
and I'm excited to check out the Empowerment Weekend. And
Good. I hope you're going to join us and others too.
Yeah, that would be great. And we'll also, for everybody out there, we'll post it to the EBONI alumni page so people can be in the know, and we can spread it and share and get as many people involved as possible, because I think it's a great opportunity for everybody, especially if it's remote. You know, you can be anywhere and you can do it.
That's exactly great. Right.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Keep being you. Such a treat, such a beautiful spirit. I can't wait to see what it's for you.
Thank you. Air hug.
Air hug. Love it. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna hope you have a great evening, and be in touch.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks to everyone who tuned in.
Yes, thank you. All right, folks. Well, that about wraps up our live chat today. What did I tell you? Such an icon, Adilah Barnes, such a treat. So thank you for tuning in. I'm Charvelle. I do this every now and then. Next week, you will not see me. I'll get a little bit of break. But it will be an EBONI Live with a discussion with Nancy Isaacs about navigating buying, selling, and leasing in today's real estate market. If you know Nancy, you love her. If you don't know her, you're going to love her. So definitely tune in next Wednesday at the same place here. And if you are just catching the tail end of this video, you can always find our live videos on, kind of retainer after the fact on our Facebook page or on our YouTube page as well, which is all EBONI Alumni Association. So again, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.